Hey, it's Christine Desmond here, and I wanted to just welcome you to my Zoom meeting. I wanted to today talk to you a little bit about mindset, and if you're anything like me, it's quite possible that you've been working online for some time. I was online for 4 years and never had any success, even though I was putting in a lot of work. And I was doing, taking all the action that I was supposed to do. I was writing blog posts, doing videos, all sorts of things. Never had any success. And about 3.5 months ago, I joined Black Ops underground marketing team and learned that there is a lot more to having a successful business and having an abundant life than just taking some action. And some of that is to do with your mindset. So I started doing, following the strategies that had been outlined in the group. I was doing my daily mirror work, my proclamations, my own statements. I was also doing a lot of reading. I read quite a lot of books, the recommended books, and also expanded my reading there. And other than my qualifying sale, I was just not getting any results at all. I wasn't even getting, I wasn't able to do the actions. I kept holding back. And one of the things that we talk about quite a lot is about letting go of your ego and just surrendering to the process. And I was, I thought I was doing that, but I had these blocks, and I wasn't quite sure what that was all about, because certainly I needed to have this business be successful. I've been out of work for a number of years now. And so I really decided to focus a lot on my personal development, because I just thought I'm wasting energy trying to do the rest of the tasks. If I'm not getting the results, then there's something blocking me, and I need to get that sorted first. So I've gone underground a little bit myself, and I've been working on my personal development. And that has taken me along an interesting path. For some of you who may have been in the group for a while, you may recall that Darren shared a webinar of Jerome Ollerman's where he talked about the heart wall. Now, at the time, I was not in a position to be able to be a part of that group, and so what I did was do some research for myself on exactly that, on doing the heart wall. Whilst I don't know what Jerome was doing, I am aware of a body of work that's been done by Dr. Brad Nelson called the Emotion Code, and also the Body Code. And so I started working on that. The information is actually free online. You can just register for their newsletter, and then you'll get the information sent to you. And the information is really, I'll just show you, I don't know if you'll be able to read that, but you get an emotion code chart, and you get the emotion code book, and also a, what do you call it, a audio book as well, so if you want to listen to it rather than read it. And then you get a couple of flow charts on how to actually go through the process. So it's free for you to be able to do your own resolving your emotional blockages. And so just in a nutshell, emotion code is about identifying trapped emotions that maybe you're not aware of, but that are just blocking your ability to achieve success in whatever it is that you're trying to do. Now, if any of you have watched the movie What the Bleep, you know that we're all energy, and we send out energy waves. If you have something like a heart wall, which is a number of emotions that can be blocked, trapped in your body, and they form a wall around your heart, then effectively your radio waves are not getting sent out. So it doesn't matter how much work you do. If you're not emitting those vibrations, then you're not reaching your audience. You're not getting your message across. And so it's really important to identify that if you are struggling, it may be that you've got either a heart wall or you've got trapped emotions that are impacting on you. So what I've been doing over the last 3 months is actually going through a process of clearing out a lot of these problems, trapped emotions, and so what I wanted to do today was actually just share with you a little bit about the process, so that way you can either touch base with me and I can help you through it. You can go online and have a look for the information yourself. But anybody, and I mean literally anybody who has a heartbeat, is able to do this. So just a couple of things that I wanted to cover. The way that you test yourself is using a methodology called kinesiology or muscle testing. And there's a number of different ways that you can do this. And I have done Touch for Health many, many years ago, and had forgotten that I actually had this skill. Funny how the things you forget. But what I did was I used to do it on other people. I'd never really muscle tested myself. And for those of you who are not aware, basically your body is like a computer, and you can tap into that and have your body respond to you about questions that you pose. So if you ask a question that's got a positive response, then you get a firm response, and if it's a negative, it's a soft one. And so most times people put their arm out, and then you have someone touch with 2 fingers, and if it's positive, it holds, and if it's not, it goes down. And so you can do it on a person by holding their arm out. You can do it, there's like the ring method, where you can just, it's positive, it's negative. Some people do it like this. So there's lots of different ways. And one of the ones that I have just recently been introduced to, which is really quite useful, is called the sway test. And basically you stand up and you ask yourself if, usually you ask the question like, is my name Christine? And you get a yes. And if it's, my name's John, and I get a no. And you actually sway. And so I was using this because I didn't have to rely on, I guess I just didn't trust myself to be completely objective. And so I wanted something where there was no doubt that it wasn't that I was holding the muscles tight and then letting them go. I was swaying, and there was no way that I could misinterpret that. So I was doing that by standing up and using the sway test. But what I found was that I have an old injury on my foot, and standing for a length of time and using the sway was actually causing me some problems. So I decided to try it sitting down, and found that I could still get that same result. Now I've even taken it a little further as I get more in tune with myself. I've got to the point now where I don't even have to know that I've moved. I can feel it inside my head. So if it's a yes, it's sort of a pulling on the front. I can sort of feel it inside my head, and the same, it's at the back. I can feel it pulling. So I can often just sit there. I don't even have to verbalize the question. I can just think the question, and I can get the feeling in my head. So I can be anywhere, and as long as I can isolate myself from outside factors, you know, if I'm in the car and I'm moving around, it can be a little bit hard sometimes to feel that. But I'm able to do that. Now, the other thing is that you can actually do this on other people. So you can tune into someone else's energy and to their subconscious with their permission, and then you can do it yourself for them, which is great if you've got children, animals you can do it with, people who don't speak your language. There's a whole range of different kind of people that you can help with this. So what I'm going to do today is just quickly run through a little bit of a process for you on how you, first of all, can identify that you have got a, whether you've got a heart wall or whether you've got trapped emotions, and then what the process is for clearing those. Now, I did a heap of work this morning. I discovered I do have a heart wall. I didn't originally, but obviously uncovered something. And I liken this to being a bit like an onion, where there's lots and lots of layers. I'm in my mid-50s, and so there's been a lot of things that have happened in my life, from a childhood, from losing a sister at a very young age, from having my own children and the stresses of bringing them up, my father passing away, lots of different things that have happened in my life, crappy jobs, people that I've worked with, lots of stuff. And I've discovered that I have had lots of stuff that I've been carrying. So what I would do first of all, before I start, is I would say, is my name Christine? Yes. I don't know if I'll just turn around a little bit. So my name is Christine, and you can see it goes forward. That's not me doing it. Is my name John? No. Sometimes you might not get a very strong result. Drinking water helps you. So if you don't get a response, then do that. And so what I want to know is, do I have any trapped emotions that I can clear at this time? And I get a yes. And so basically, once I've got that, and I'll just turn back around, when you've got a yes, you just start working through this emotion code. Now, I'm thinking this is going to be the reverse way, but basically we've got column A here and column B, and then we've got row 1, 2, 3, 4, up to row 6. So basically what I do is I would say, is this trapped emotion in column A? And I get a no, so it's in column B. And then I would ask, is it in an odd row? And I get a no, so it's in an even row. So it's column B, an even row, yes. Row 2, no. Row 4, no. Row 6, yes. So row 6, I have 5 emotions that are within that row. And I'm just going to write this down. So is it pride? No. Shame? No. Shock? No. Unworthy? No. Worthless? Yes. So that's an emotion of trapped emotion of a worthless. And this could be something that happened when I was 1 year old. It could have been that someone said something to me. It could be something that happened even when I was in uterus. And then the other thing is that it can actually be a trapped emotion from a relative. So I may have had this transferred to me from one of my parents on conception. And if you imagine your emotions are energy, and if an ancestor has had something happen to them that they feel that they need to trap that emotion away, if they think that that is in some way on a subconscious level going to be of benefit to protecting the next generation, they may well pass that on. Now I have had inherited emotions that I've cleared that have gone back, I think it was 23 or 26 generations. And so I will see whether or not I've got a trapped emotion from that I've been inherited that I can show you. But I'll do this one first. I'll do another one and see whether or not we've got that. Oh, I need to show you how to clear it. So I've identified worthless. What I can then do is ask, do I need to know any more about this? And I get a no. So the great thing about this is you can have trapped emotions, you can clear these emotions. You don't need to actually go through the pain of reliving that situation. Sometimes you might not even know, but sometimes your body will actually say, yes, you do need to know more. And you've got to recall that you need to know that your subconscious knows everything that's happened in your life. And so it knows where this emotion came from. It knows what the circumstances were, who was around, how you felt about it. But sometimes you just need to have it sort of brought to your consciousness a little bit. So I don't need to know anything, but if I wanted to know more, I could say, okay, did this happen to me? I normally split my age in half, or just less than half. So I'd say, did this happen before the age of 25? I got a no. So it was after 25, yes. Was it after 30? Yes. Was it after 40? Yes. Was it after 50? Yes. 51? Was it at the age of 51? Okay, so I've got a yes. So at the age of 51, something happened that made me feel worthless. Now, do I need to know any more about that? No, I don't. But what can often happen is that when you identify that particular time, something might pop up in your head. You might go, oh, that was when I had this happen. I remember feeling like that. And so it can be enough just to help trigger a memory. You might not remember. It might not be anything that you can think of at the time. Don't stress about that. You don't need to know. But you might find in the next day or so that a memory comes to you and you'll think, oh, okay, what made me think of that? And it is quite often just the fact that you've been processing some things. So what we do to clear these trapped emotions, we use a good old fridge magnet. Highly technical. We are magnetic beings, and if you understand anything about the chakras and Kundalini and our energy portals, we have our central meridian that goes down the center of our body, that all of the rest flow off. And what we do is we just run this magnet over our central meridian. So for myself, it runs from here and it goes all the way down to our tailbone. And all I need to do is run this magnet over my central meridian 3 times. If it's an inherited emotion, I'd do it for 10. And then I ask myself, has this cleared this emotion of worthlessness? And I get a yes. And then I just effectively go through and ask another question. Do I have another trapped emotion that I need to work on at this time? Yes. Now I have, like I said, this morning, I did a whole heap on heart wall, and I got quite a lot. I've got pages of these. So sometimes you get to a point where your body will say, no, there's no more to be done at the moment. It doesn't mean that you've cleared yourself and whoo, but sometimes you just need time to then process that. So your subconscious knows, and it might bring certain things to your consciousness over the next few days. You can actually ask yourself, how long before you can work on it again. It might just be a 10-minute break. You might be able to do it later that day. I had one time where I had to wait for 2.5 weeks because I had obviously unearthed some stuff that needed a bit of processing. I have to say that I am feeling more and more confident every day as I use this, because I feel that I'm unearthing some stuff that I've been carrying around for quite a long time. And it's been impacting my life in lots of different ways, so it's really quite valuable. The other thing is the emotion code and also the body code, which works on imbalances of your body, and it's more about disease and physical pain and things like that, which trapped emotions can cause as well. But you can actually do a certification course, which I plan to do. So I am going to become a certified practitioner of the emotion code, and I will be doing sessions for people, but I wanted to let you know that as part of the team, if you need any help, I'd be more than happy to help you along the way. But the other thing to be aware of is if you're not in the team yet and you want to become part of the team and you want to identify some of the blocks that might be holding you back, that I'm offering a special offer to the first 5 people who join me in my business, that I will give them a half-hour emotion code session. I'm happy to do either a session where we clear some emotions for you, or I can step you through the process of how to go about doing it for yourself. I'm happy to do it either way, because the thing that is really important about this is it doesn't just impact on the immediate stuff. This improves the quality of your life for everything. And for those people who have trapped inherited emotions, you're actually releasing those emotions from your ancestors, and also from children and grandchildren that you may have passed that on to yourself. So you're impacting more than just one person's life, which I find is really my true purpose. That's how I feel about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly ask about an inherited trapped emotion to show you the process. So do I have an inherited trapped emotion that I can clear at this time? Okay, I do. And so what would normally happen is if you were doing if you were asking for a trapped emotion, because they normally just come up and then you find out that it's inherited, you'd go through your column A, column B, and then your row 1, 2, 3. But when you actually got to one of these rows, if you went through these 5 emotions and you got a no for every one of them, what that indicates is that it may be an inherited one. And so you ask, is this an inherited trapped emotion? And then you would go through and identify where that came from, and then you would clear it with 10 swipes of the magnet. So I'll just do that. So I have an inherited trapped emotion is in column A, column B. So it's column B, odd row, even row. So row 2, row 4, row 6. Is it pride, shame, shock, unworthy? So I have an inherited trapped emotion of unworthy. Okay, so did I inherit this from my mother? No. So it was from my father, so I write down an F for father. Did he inherit it from anyone? No. Okay, so it was just his trapped emotion of unworthy. Now, I am not getting as many inherited trapped emotions as I used to, because when I first started doing this, I got a lot. And as I say, they did go back quite a way. So now what I do is I say, pardon me, I set an intent to clear this trapped emotion of unworthy from myself and from my ancestors. I can also ask, did any of my children inherit this trapped emotion? They didn't. Okay, so this was just something that was passed on to me. But I have had responses sometimes where it's been passed on to maybe 1 or 2 of my children. And what I generally will do is ask for it to be cleared from all living ancestors, relatives, because I have brothers and sisters. And if I've inherited it from my father, it's possible that they may have done as well. So this is the only occasion where you would clear trapped emotions from someone without their permission. And I have had experiences where I have gone to clear a trapped emotion, and when I've asked if it's been cleared from my ancestor, I found that it hadn't. And when I asked the question, did they want it, the answer was no. So you can't do it if the ancestor doesn't want it, or your relative doesn't want it. They can block it. So magnet, and I do this for 10 times. Okay, I did one extra, I think. So has that cleared this inherited trapped emotion of unworthy? And has it cleared it from my father? Yep. Okay, so that's now cleared. I'll give that a little tick. The other thing is that, what was I going to say? No, I've lost it. That's all right. So that's, in short, how I am using the emotion code to clear my blocked emotions. Now, the other thing is that as much as you can use it in general, just asking if you've got a trapped emotion, if you're feeling pain in a part of your body, or you're feeling anxiety, or you've got something that is really troubling you, you can even be specific about, do I have a trapped emotion causing this pain in my shoulder? And so you can specify a particular area, because what happens is when an event occurs, you trap an emotion in your body, it can be tucked away into different parts of your body. So it might be into your heart, or it could be into your liver, your spleen. And in fact, if you have a look at this, you'll see on the where it's row 1, row 2, underneath it actually tells you what the parts of the body are. So you can even just ask yourself, do I have any trapped emotions in my heart or my small intestine? And you can clear things away that way. So if you're having some health issues, you can even use it for that. And then the other way is in regards to abundance. You can have trapped emotions that are blocking you from being able to achieve abundance in your life. And so there is a process for being able to go through that as well, which I have done. So that is that. Basically, as much as the meditation by Paul Santesi is fantastic, and I highly recommend that. I've had a couple of really great breakthroughs using that. The important thing about doing that is that if you feel emotions come up, let them come up. Don't hold them down. Go to a quiet spot and bawl your eyes out and just let it happen, because in doing that, you're releasing that emotion. And the same goes for with the emotion chart. When I go through and I clear an emotion, if something pops up for me, a memory like worthless, there was one earlier today where I had worthless, and it was to do with a job that I had. I was made redundant and I felt worthless. That brought up some emotions for me. I just let them happen because it's helping to clear. So I hope this has been of value to you. If you want to, as I say, if you want to be part of the team, for the first 5 people who make contact with me and ask to join my team, then I will offer you a half-hour bonus session. And for those of you who are already in the team, please reach out if you want to have a session. My diary will fill up fairly quickly, but I'd be more than happy to help you on your journey if you feel that you still have some blocks. So from me here in Australia, have yourself an awesome, awesome day, and I look forward to catching you soon. Bye-bye for now.